Who has heard of the slavery footprint application?
Oh, great slavery footprint. Yeah, great question.
Okay, would you please write it down? Slavery footprint, just go into Google search, and either on your laptop or on your iPhone, you'll find this fantastic application called the Slavery Footprint, which was put together by a film producer, some of his people, US State Department, and a couple of corporations, including ours, that helped develop the whole thing. What you do is you go into this application, and it asks you about your lifestyle. It says, what kinds of things do you buy at the supermarket? Where do you source them from? What kinds of clothes? How many cars do you have? Where do you go on vacation? How many flights a year do you take? And it's really fun. It's a fun application. You run through it, and then you find that this isn't fun, because what it says to you at the end is, we've analyzed your information, and you are using 27 slaves in this world, you personally. And you can roll that up for your family, or a college, or a community, and do it, and find out how many slaves you are using. What it then does is it says to you at the end, and if you want to do something about this, here's how you can do something about it as an individual or an organization. I just wanted to mention it because it's one of the best little tools for raising awareness that I've yet seen.
You know, when I took the slavery footprint, I was mortified. I mean, this has been a life passion and work for me for about 15 years. And my slavery footprint was not 0. It was like 14. And I buy fair trade. I completely support anything and everything that's fair trade, which is one of the first things you can do to really ensure your basic commodities, your sugar, your coffee, your tea, your cocoa, on the way up, have certification or okay. There's Chain Store Reaction is another website you can go to, chainstorereaction.org, where you can choose the brand and send a note through the website or through your own email, which asks them to change their policy, to have a policy, and to ensure that codes of conduct are verified. And the website with the Chain Store Reaction site indicates how many notes have been sent to the company and what their response, if any response, has been. And so you can just, at a glance of an eye, get a very quick picture of which companies have been responsive to consumer requests for information and requests for changing a policy in a public way, and which ones haven't. So that's chainstorereaction.org. But the good news here is, first of all, groups like this are gathering and having these conversations. We were not having these conversations even 3 years ago. Second of all, we've got these really great tools put together by smart people who know how to make it attractive and fun, because I can't do that, and backed up by US State Department rigorous data. So it's real. It's not activists scaring tactics. It's actually based on very rigorous data sets that we have. And so the good news is you can actually start to change your lifestyle. And I think most importantly, this is what I come back to, is ask. Ask what you're buying from. Ask the folks, and you will get a lot of blank stares. But then you continue to ask some more and write letters and ask companies, well, what are you doing about the California supply chain? How are you reporting out on your efforts? What steps are you taking? Where did this fish come from? And this is what we fundamentally as every individual can do, regardless who we work for or not.
And that's a really good point, because we were talking about, all of us are consumers. We may be employees, we may be in different sectors, but we're all consumers. And having that awareness and driving that awareness as a consumer will have an effect on businesses who deliver to consumers, because that's what they'll say. Well, we have the policies in place, et cetera, but we aren't hearing this from our consumers. Does it make a difference in your purchase? Are you, when you see a company on the front page of the New York Times being talked about using, slave labor, does that make a difference in your purchase? And so that's just another aspect, and I asked the panelists as well to chime in on that as a consumer, and will the consumer make that choice?
This will not change in corporations unless you get the very, very top person in the corporation fully involved. You need someone like a Marilyn Carlson Nelson for every corporation. You've got to find someone that is motivated to want to make the change in the corporation. It's got to be the top person, whoever that is. So you can produce as much analytics as you like, and I've found that when we can't get to the chairman, CEO, it doesn't happen. It won't work. So we've got to get to the very top people in the American corporate world And that's what we're trying to do, and to gather together into the business coalition in the US. So yes, End Human Trafficking Now website has a list of how you can monetize the return, if you like. And we intend to also publish that as Business Coalition in the US. But the important thing is to get a discussion like this with the chairman and CEO of the company. And then it starts to happen. We need to convert them as modern-day missionaries against human trafficking.